I guess I should start this video off by apologizing. My video schedule has just kind of been up in the air here in the last week. What happened is that when I started baling hay, the time that I would normally use for editing videos was spent sitting on a hay baler and getting that done. Now that's finished, and I'm hoping that I can get back on sort of a normal upload schedule. I will do a video about the hay crop and how everything went out there, but that's not what we're doing today, because today I need to load the side-by-side here onto the trailer, and I need to run up to a new pasture that we're going to be leasing this summer. And I mostly want to ride the perimeter fence and make sure that everything's in good shape before we take cattle up there. That's what's going on today on Farmertylerranch. Like so many things that I do, before I can do the thing that I'm actually here to do, I need to do some other things so that I can do that thing. Does that make sense? So in this case, I've got to get all this pipe off of the trailer. I bought this used oil pipe several months ago with donations from my Patreon people. So thank you very much. If you're a Patreon member, this is where your money went. This steel is going to be used to build the new round bale feeder that I'm going to be putting in the corral here. That's not going to be for a little while yet though, so I need to get it off of the trailer because I've got a bunch of other jobs that I need this trailer for, and today's a good example. This is yet another reason why it would be really good to have my little four-wheeler up and running, because I could just put the four-wheeler in the back of the truck instead of having to take the trailer and the side-by-side every time I need to go to this pasture. This pipe came in 31-foot lengths, so what I had to do was bring my generator and my portaband up to the place and then cut it down to size so that it would fit on my 18-foot trailer. I knew that I was going to need a bunch of 10-footers, so I basically just cut 10 feet off of the 31s, and then that left me with a 21, which will more or less fit on the trailer. Well, there's a feeder there. You just can't see it yet. All right, let's run back up to the house, grab the side-by-side, and head out to this new pasture. I really don't like how this strap is folding over the edge of the trailer here. I feel like that's going to wear on it over time and probably create a weak spot that could eventually result in a break. So there's a little trick that you can do. I'm going to show you guys. I mean, obviously you could stick a piece of cardboard or a shop rag in between the strap and the trailer, but there's another thing you can do that I kind of like a little bit better. Like I said, putting something soft in between the strap and the trailer works as well, but the problem is I usually don't have just like random pieces of cardboard or random rags around when I'm loading something on the trailer. But I've always got my chains here because they're right here in the box. This is about a 30-minute drive, best case scenario. It could actually be a little bit longer than that. So while I don't really like how far away it is, there are a few pretty big benefits to this place that make the drive worth it. First of all, this is irrigated pasture, which in my area is so difficult to find. From what I can tell, the pasture is about 14 acres, and I actually don't plan to take any of my breeding cows over there. And the reason for that is because while this pasture is in its full production and I'll be grazing it, that's the same time of year that I'm going to be having bulls out breeding the cows. If I was to send breeding cows to this pasture, I would need yet another bull. And at this time, it's just not realistic. The way that I am going to utilize this pasture though is I'm going to send all of my yearling steers out here. This year I've got 10 of them, which is more than I've ever kept before. And I was a little bit concerned about the pasture at the home ranch being able to carry that many animals. Another nice thing is that this pasture is already divided into 3 individual pastures. So rotational grazing is still something that we're going to be able to do, although I'm not going to attempt to do daily moves. This is just too far away to try to do that. In addition to the pasture being a little bit further away, the other bad thing about it is that there is no working corral here. So this has got me a little bit nervous. When it's time to get the steers out of this place, I'm either going to have to bring portable panels, or I'm going to have to make some portable panels or something. Every problem has a solution, and this is no different. We just may not be able to load them as quickly as we're used to. Today, the main goal is to just make sure all the fences are good, which I'm pretty sure that they are. But, you know, with the cattle being this far away, it's not a bad idea to just take a second look, take a close look, and make sure that everything looks all right before we go ahead and turn them loose out there. Well, we're here. I just got to figure out where I can park, where I'm not going to be in the way, and then we can get out and look around. Well, I haven't got too far here, and I did find a spot that I think needs a little bit of attention. It looks like whoever had cattle here last really pushed them and made it to where they kind of started pushing on this fence, because it's leaning over quite a bit, and this woven wire has got some holes in it, most of which are not too bad, but there is one here that's pretty big, definitely big enough to get a head through, and a lot of times once a head gets through, then a body follows. So I think we better put some sort of wire here or something just to kind of patch this up. Might not be the prettiest, but I think it'll work. Well, this is it. It's a really beautiful piece of property. It's got good water, plenty of shade, plenty of feed. I think this is going to be a good fit for my butcher steers. The one problem, you might be able to hear it in my voice, but the ryegrass out here is really pollinating right now, and it is doing a number on my allergies. So I think I've seen all I need to see out here. This looks good. Well, it's the next day now. My allergies were just getting too bad over there. I could barely talk, and I just didn't think I sounded very good on camera. So today I feel a lot better. The reason that was happening over there is because nothing is grazing that grass. So everything was allowed to build a seed head and start making pollen. And I think once we start grazing that'll go away this year. And if we get cattle out there earlier and start grazing it, that's not going to be a problem next year. Overall, I'm really happy with that property. I think it's going to be perfect for the way that I want to use it. I guess one thing that I wasn't real crazy about is that on the west end of the pasture, the fence was sort of non-existent, honestly, but in its place stood massive berry vine bushes with thorns and thick brush, and I just don't see any way that the cattle would be able to get through that, let alone even want to try. So Over at the winter pasture, some of our fences are made up of berry vines and they seem to work pretty good over there, so I'm sure they're going to be fine at this place as well. All that's left now is just getting the steers over there, but before we do that, like I said before, we first need to vaccinate, brand, and ear tag them, and then they will be ready to leave the ranch. That's going to have to wait for another video though, because it is in the 90s today, and you know, in my book, and probably theirs as well, that's too hot to be working cows. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.